want to say thank you so much to Pat for her previous talk last week. I was gone, but I certainly listened in. And she talked about how healing works, and I love that. Because that's all the time we're concerned with healing, not just our physical body, but our minds, our thoughts, our spirits, always healing. And it is our nature to self-heal, to expand, to evolve. And we can decide to use the power of I am. We talked about that in our studies this morning, the words that we use. And the I am is what we're calling in all the time. I am not just healed, but I'm well. I am well with myself. I am. Whatever you say behind I am is what we're creating. And so that's how we get to claim our life, healing our minds and our bodies and our spirits anytime we decide. It's our decision, so we get to do that. Today I want to share with you spiritual freedom and what that means and why that's important to us. Because spiritual freedom is a liberation from suffering, from inner suffering, just the suffering that we have within. We're again, as we talk, when we come together for our, it's not a Bible study, it's a book study, on Sunday mornings, we talked about that, what goes on in our minds, and as we take on whatever it is people outside of us say, oh, you're underachiever, you're not doing all that. Who cares what other people are saying? We don't need to take that on. What matters is what we think about ourselves. And what I know for sure about each and every one of you, each and every one of us, is that we are individualized expressions of the one Spirit. Therefore, we are perfect. And if we want more things, if we want other things to show up in our lives, we get to co-create our lives by just calling in the I am. And so again, very important that we watch what we're calling in and what we're saying I am about, and how we're allowing that to create in our lives just by using the I am. So spiritual freedom is being liberated. It's realizing that the limiting beliefs and attachments that we have lead to this sense of, letting go of it, leads to this sense of inner peace and deep connection. So it's about our deep connection. I talk about this all the time. There's nothing else for me to talk about but your relationship with the divine in you. It's all about your relationship with the divine in and as you. That is how we have the best life possible at any given moment, is to know that we are the I am. And we can change our mind, we can decide, we can tell a different story. We are so good. Here's the thing that I want you to know. If you don't think you're creative, a lot of people don't, because they see it creative as, oh, I don't paint, or I don't write songs, or oh, well, whatever it is, I'm not a great computer person, whatever we're thinking. But let me tell you something. When's the last time you told yourself a story? When's the last time you made up a story? Hello? This is creation. We are creating things in our minds. And we can change the story anytime we want. Anytime we want to change the story, we can change it. So there's like 4 things, and I'm not going to talk about all 4 because I don't have time, and plus I don't want to. But there's 4 things that we talk about when it comes to having spiritual freedom. The 2 things I want to talk about is transcending limitations. How do we transcend limitations? And the power, for me, the second thing is the power of questioning what we think so that we can then transform. So it's always about questioning. So I was at Costco. Yeah, I was at Costco, I was at the pharmacy picking up.
Now we're not.
Now you can't hear me. So I was actually there you go. Thank you. I was at Costco, I was picking up some stuff at the pharmacy and then getting my glasses. Did you know, just as an aside, did you know that if you leave your sunglasses, your prescription sunglasses in the car, in the heat in Texas, they actually melt? Did you know that? Like the prescription melted. Like, what the heck? So, yes, these little lines, these little wavy lines came out. I'm looking at them, do my eyes like this? I'm like, I can't see out this eye. What's happening? So I took back to Costco and they go, oh, yeah, did you leave the glasses in the car? I go, yeah, did everybody? What? Why else would you have them? Hello? And she goes, no, that's going to melt the prescription. Well, don't worry, we'll fix it back for you for free. It's no problem. So anyway, so that's just an aside story. That wasn't a story.
So don't keep it where you need it.
Thank you. You got my point exactly. Yes. So anyway, I'm at Costco. So I'm at the pharmacy, and my phone rings. So those of you who know have heard my phone go off. I have alarms with different songs. I have all these wonderful songs that I love, and so, and I have to, by the way, the phone, another aside, the phone is such a miracle for those of us who are getting older and need to remember things. Yeah, I can't tell you how many reminders. If I was to show you my phone right now, you see about 15 reminders, alarms going off. But not only do I have to have alarms going off, I have to actually label them. Because the alarm will go off and I'm going, what's this for? Why is this, right? What's this alarm going off for? So it's a really, anyway. So I'm there and the alarm goes off. And it's Ed Sheeran. And it's, I don't know Ed's songs. It's a great song. Which one is it? Oh, I can't think of it. Anyway, it's a great Ed Sheeran song. And so the lady who was helping me, she goes, is that Ed Sheeran? I said, oh, yeah, actually it is. So both of us just start dancing in the middle of the thing. And so the thing that I'm talking about in this story is that I just get to be who I am. We get to be who we are. We don't have to show up as anybody else. We don't have to I don't care that the alarm went off. It's my alarm. It went off. And then I got to talk to this woman. She asked me. She recognized it. And she says, and then she just joined us. And so we had a little mini party going on. This is how I think life gets to be. When you just decide that you're okay to show up exactly as who you are. Lord knows, you guys know me. I don't care. I'm going to show up as me. If you have a problem with it, move off. Step away. It's okay. I'm all right. Because I like myself. I love myself. I love spirit. I know who I am. And if you were to get to know me, you'd probably have a good time too. But that's okay. You don't have to. Right? Because it's your choice. It's your choice. So I leave from there, and I go over to the eyeglass place. And I'm standing there, and this woman and I just start, it was very crowded. And she and I were looking at each other going, why is it so crowded here? I don't know. She said, well, we both obviously came thinking it wasn't going to be crowded at this time. And I said, clearly we were wrong about that. So we just started chit-chatting. And she was telling me all about Kroger and all the wonderful things that are at Kroger. So I said, oh, so I'm taking notes. This woman, she rides up in one of those carts, you know, where you can't walk around, so you have those electric carts. And I see her out of the corner of my eye, but I'm just talking to this woman. And she's trying to get something down. And so, okay, she can do it. And it doesn't, it's in a box. You know how sometimes they have it in a little box, and it's hard to get it out of the box? Because where she was sitting, she had to lift up over her head to get the thing out. Here's my point. The limitations, the beliefs that you have in your head. One of the things that I do is when I'm talking to somebody, I'm with you. I don't talk to you and then look for something else to do. Look for the next best person that's coming around, a better story. If I'm talking to you, I'm with you. That's my rule. So I'm talking to this woman, and now I don't want to act like I'm not paying attention to her, but I want to, the other thing that I have is to help people, to be of service. But the other story in my head that was stopping me from helping her was I didn't want her to think that I thought she wasn't capable because she was handicapped. You see? Okay, so you want to talk about creative and stories going on in your head? I had to override those stories. I had to override them. Why? Because I want to be in the moment, loving the people that I'm with, doing what is right as far as I am concerned with what I say is important to me, and not let these rules that generally guide me stop me from doing what is right in the moment. So I overcame, and I thought, well, she's not going to think I'm rude, not talking to her just because I turned away. And this woman clearly needs some help. So I just took the thing out and I said, here's one. Do you need more than one? She goes, no, thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. And so she didn't feel offended because I helped her. The other woman didn't feel offended because I turned away for a second to help somebody else. So those stories in my head, well, they may normally be right. They weren't right then. Do you understand that? So everything that we're thinking about, the rules that we live by, what we think is the right thing to do, isn't always the right thing to do. Maybe it's right 99% of the time. That's okay. That's good. So we don't have to always be thinking up or thinking about what it is we want and who we are. We talk about this every first of the year and throughout the year. One of the things I share with you is for you to decide who you are and how you're going to show up. Because everyone has an opinion about how you're supposed to live your life. But it's your life. They don't have a right to tell you how you should live. It's yours to say. And they don't get a vote, even though they think they do. They don't get a vote unless you allow them to have a vote. And the only way, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, you don't take it on, this is my opinion, this one works for me, is to not allow other people's opinions to move me, is to have my own, to know for a fact how I want to show up. And I talk about the 5 values that I have. And you don't have to have a whole bunch, because I think if you have the top 5 values, everything's going to fall under that anyway. Everything's going to fall. How you want to be is probably going to fall under those 5 top values. And for me, it's always, always who I am and who you are. I am an individualized expression of God, and so are you. That frees me up from so many things. I don't have to fix you. I don't have to fix you. You already have exactly the information I have. You can fix it yourself. So I don't, unless you ask me for my opinion, and even then, careful about that. Even then, people say they want it, but do they really? I don't know. But my point is this, is that we get to, in order to have spiritual freedom, that's the point I'm making right now. To be spiritually free is to allow you to know who you are, to live the way you want to live, to be the person you say you want to be. And we do that because we are constantly checking in with ourselves, questioning, is this, I'm talking to this woman and wanting to help this woman, and I'm going back and forth in my, it was very quick, but I was going back and forth in my mind. Is she going to feel insulted because I'm not because I've turned from this conversation? Is she going to feel insulted because I don't think she can do something because she's handicapped? No, do it. Because the love shows through. It was a very quick decision, but it was a decision based on who I want to be. Loving, helpful, joyous. So the joy, I didn't bring that up earlier, but that's what the dancing was about. Me and the girl, she's like, who's that Ed Sheeran? Yeah, girl. You know, we just, nobody was offended. Nobody said, can you get out of line? I'm trying to get my pills. Nobody looked mad that we were doing that. They were actually laughing with us. Okay? And even if they weren't, so what? So what? That wasn't the important thing. It was she and I. It was joy in that moment. What else is life about, really? What else is life about? If it's not loving one another, loving yourself first, loving God, having that relationship, having joy. How much time do we think we have? I don't know. I'm shocked, quite frankly, that I'm this age. I'm not going to say it, but all of you know. I'm shocked because I don't feel like that. I still feel like a teen. It's okay. But we don't know how much time we have. So whatever it is, think about how to be spiritually free, because it's the only freedom that matters. It's the only freedom that matters. Your spirituality and you living your best life every moment of every day. And we only know how to do that when we have decided early on who we are. And one of the things that I can tell you is that as the 5 things that I talk about, my 5 top values, they weren't there until I started looking at it, and I said, okay, these are going to be my top 5. And then I started being in the Word, and thought, oh, you know what? Actually, no, because I put them in order. Not only are they my top 5, but they're in order. Okay? So as you're going through your life and you're looking at your top 5, does that show up? Does that work? Does that encompass everything that I do? You move them around. You say, you know what? This is not in my top 5. It's maybe number 6 or 7, but top 5 is this one. And move it up until you finally have those top 5 that you always show up as. I'm always going to show up as God. I'm going to make sure. I pray every morning that Spirit shows up, that I am aligned with Spirit, that I know who I am and I know who you are. So when I speak to you, I'm not trying to heal you. I'm not trying to fix you. I'm trying to be with you as one divinity to another. That's all. That's all we're doing. That's all we're supposed to do. Okay? And then just have joy in my life. Joy in your life. That's what we get to do. I want to leave you with a couple of, no, I don't think I only have one. I usually have 2, but I don't have one. I want to leave you with this final thought from Viktor Frankl. It is this spiritual freedom which cannot be taken away that makes life meaningful and purposeful. And we get to choose what that is, what that spiritual freedom looks like. We are individualized expressions of the way. If you walk away from here and you don't know anything else, know that you are the divine. You are the divine. And the power of I am is how you create your life. So watch what you say. When you say I am, whatever goes behind that is what you become. So just watch that. Watch what you're saying. Question why you believe something. And live a life of spiritual freedom. And so it is.